This is the second video in this series on robustness, aiming to teach you how to point out things you've done in your Python programming to make sure that your program is robust and doesn't encounter any errors. Okay, so the second thing I'm going to talk about is this idea of a kind of case statement and how you make sure that you deal with all possible eventualities by using else. So when I use this kind of term, when I use this term case statement, it doesn't really exist in Python, so I've been through this before. The idea is that we just stack up ifs and elifs, and this is what kind of is Python's version of a case statement. So imagine something where the user has to choose a choice, so print options, they're going to choose from a list of options, they're going to input their choice, and what we're going to do is say if the choice is 1, so notice when I'm expecting them to input numbers, what I'm doing at this point is I'm always using the string data type, even though it's a number. There's no need for something as kind of simple as this to start using int to cast the user's input into an integer, because that kind of just opens up more room for error. So even though it's a number, we're not doing anything numeric or mathematical with it. We're simply using it to kind of identify the different options in the menu. So imagine this is some kind of game program, and there's a function called new game. There's if they choose 2, then the function is new user. If the choice is 3, then they view high scores. And if the choice is 4, they view the help section or something. So this is similar to my while loop, but now my kind of main loop of the program is just going to run through and call these options. But this is just where simply I will use else to make sure that I can kind of inform them you haven't selected something from the menu. And this is the same, so in this kind of scenario I'm calling functions, but this is the same if you're assigning variables depending on the user's options or something, because that can kind of really run into problems if the program later depends on a certain variable being set, but you haven't dealt with all the possible circumstances, so you've only used ifs and elifs. So this kind of explains why it's absolutely necessary to use else in this context.